Welcome everyone to another video review, a special video review. So I think I uploaded my Blowout Halo Infinite review first before this video. That wasn't the one I was hinting at the end of my Alice in Wonderland video. This is the piece I really meant to do, but I wanted to just put up that Halo one because it's been so long. It's been probably well over, I would guess, a year overdue, I think. And I just wanted to kind of put my thoughts up there. It's a long 2-hour plus video kind of reviewing all of the things, the systems and everything like that. System, controller, game, hard drive. But this is the actual next statue review. It's very, very special. And for those of you who know this square, simple square, black piece of paper or cardboard, you'll know what this is. I'm going to turn it around. So this is actually what the certificate of authenticity is for the JND Studios line of 1/3 scale collectibles. The last time you saw something like this was for my Wonder Woman review, and now, almost exactly a year later, the second piece I bought from them has come in, and this is the Selina Catwoman 1/3 scale JND Studios movie statue. It is a limited edition of 800, of which I got 529. You can see here the people involved, the artist, 3D artist. This is, of course, extremely classy certificate of authenticity. Most companies just have a simple piece of paper, or they don't really have certificates of authenticity at all. A lot of modern statues, they don't even bother with that. But JND Studios is filling a niche market. It's the high-end boutique collectibles statues. I'm going to put this aside. Again, I talked before that they are fulfilling the promise that Cinema Maquette almost 15 years ago began. JND Studios, their products are remarkable. Let's start with the base, move our way up, and start getting into this. So again, I'm doing this actually in natural light. Normally I have to do this at night, but very, very rarely I actually have an opportunity to do this during the day. Family's not here, so this is going to be a pretty special occasion. So here we go. Even under natural light, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see that the front says the dark night rises. Very, very beautiful effects here. You can see the cracks right along the night area. This is a very basic, simple base. JND Studios specializes in museum poses. They do not do anything weird, action, whatnot. They let their work stand, pun intended, by itself. So you can see it's always very classy, typically straightforward, simple bases. Now, the Batman mask and the visor represent different switch out options. She also has actually an entirely separate right hand and lower arm to accommodate the mask, which I will cut and get into. And then the goggles can actually be put on her head for a different look, which we will get into. So here you can see the snow effects on the base. This is very nice. Typically, you can't do snow really well. I mean, a lot of times when companies try to do snow, it just winds up looking like cheap cardboard foam or something. And to a certain extent, this also applies to the base as well. They've done, of course, a very good job. You can see sort of the road or the concrete or granite or whatever you want to call this. You can see a light dusting, powderiness of the snow on there. It's not overly done. So it looks about as good as I've seen it, but still, there's just limitations to this. where it's going to be a little bit difficult to completely replicate what true snow looks like. These can come off. It didn't really for me. I guess they did it pretty well. But obviously, in order to give you the effect, it has to be layers, and so some of this can actually come off. You can actually feel it. It's actually, you know, kind of epoxy in the position or glued in the position. But just know that if you're not gentle, little flakes of it can come off. In terms of the accessories, this is obviously the broken cowl of Batman. This is made out of plastic. It's very, very light. You can kind of see the edges of this, the inside. You know, it's good. It's nice. Nothing special. So here you have it. And then, you know, eventually she is meant to actually hold this in her right hand as an alternative display. And then this is the actual piece we can put over her head. This is a soft elastic. And then this thing can actually go down over the eyes like this. But the preferred way of displaying her would be to put this over her head, and then you basically swing it up so that this part here mimics the cat ears. So she's supposed to basically look like this, if you can do that. Okay, so that's nice, and we will get to that in a second. So as you can see, this thing actually comes right off, and you can look at that together, and it'll swing up and down. All right, so now I'm gonna put this aside. We're going to just look at her from the bottom up. This is actual metal, I believe. Her stiletto heels. So she's magnetized, and there's a key for the foot as well. Very, very sturdy. And again, that attention to detail, everything fits perfectly. This attention to detail I mentioned before with the JND Studios Wonder Woman. I mean, the packaging is amazing. The box, very, very high quality cardboard. There's no dents, there's no scratches. They embossed the cover of the box with her name, Catwoman, Selina Kyle. So this is a studio that, again, is aspiring to be sort of like a boutique brand for statue collectors. They don't put out a whole lot of stuff, but when they do, they tend to go absolutely all out. So you can always trust, again, in that quality when it comes. So beautiful accent, what Disney would call plussing. They put that kind of metal stiletto heels. And then the rest of the body, I know it's hard to believe, is all sculpted. So look at these shoes, the wrinkles. It's supposed to be leather in the film, and this is not mixed media, which is an absolutely excellent decision on JND Studios' part. You cannot actually, and I've talked about this in a past video review with the sideshows and mixed media pieces, but you can't actually put actual leather on a statue and make it look as good as on a human being. So for them to be able to kind of give you those details, the wrinkles, all that effect, you pretty much have to sculpt all of that. And so they did that. You can take a look at her cat suit. This is her thigh-high boots. And again, when you look at this under natural lighting, it's just simply remarkable. All of this is essentially sculpted. It will look for all the world like leather. You have all these natural wrinkles, but no, this is all actual sculpted, not mixed media at all. Then going up to sort of her cat suit, you can see the amazing textures. I'm trying to get a little bit close up, but you get the idea. Just kind of perfectly symmetrical. This is obviously from digital sculpting, and digital sculpting gives you the capacity or the ability to do this type of work, whereas by hand, this would be essentially impossible. So here you go. You have her pose. Again, look at the leather gloves. Look at the texturing. Now remember, she's all in a black bodysuit. It's very hard to make black interesting, you know, in terms of the colors. So you have to figure out some way of doing this. And with the pose and the way they sculpted the leather and how the leather has to warp and change with that pose, it's just remarkable. So here is her right hand. She's holding the pistol. This pistol is detachable. You can actually separate the thumb from the hand. The seam line is actually right here, very nicely hidden. And it's a simple plastic gun. The gun, I think, could probably have looked a little bit better, but it's good enough. So here she is holding the gun. Here she is in this relaxed state. We can take a look at the backside. Tastefully done. Yeah, nice hips, but not excessively or overly sexualized. She has her little pouches. Again, check out the detail on those pouches, on the belt. Pretty nice. And now we're getting to, of course, the so-called money shot, the kill shot. We're gonna come on up, take a look here. This is her belt buckle. Look at the detail and the texturing of the actual buckle itself. And then backing up. This is true to Anne Hathaway's measurements. I'm sure this thing here is actually movable. So you can actually move this. You can't pull it down, obviously, but it has a little bit of give. And then finally, moving back, just kind of teasing a little bit. So this is actually real hair, hand punched, very nice, smooth. Real hair, all the way up. And then we're going to give you the full reveal right here. This is 1/3 scale Anne Hathaway. Right there, boom. I'm gonna try to back up so we don't have a fisheye effect. So this is what she looks like. The best Anne Hathaway statue on the planet. No offense to Queen Studios or Hot Toys, but this is actual pure silicon, platinum silicon, hand-punched hairline, makeup, hand-painted glass eyes, hand-punched eyebrows. Photos don't do it justice. Videos don't do it justice, even video under natural lighting. It does not show you sort of the effect and the shadows, but this is just a remarkable piece of work. You can look at the details of her sternocleidomastoid muscle as she turns her head, look at the details of the ears. You can actually see all of that, the helix, antihelix, tragus, conchoidal bowl, just an insane amount of detail for this. Eyes looking good. There's a lot of ways you can display it. If you put her the goggles on, she looks even more killer, but the portrait itself is so beautiful that my preferred way of displaying her will likely just be to simply have her without the portrait so that people can enjoy this. Not the portrait, without the goggles, so people can enjoy her portrait. So just kind of moving up and down to give you like a better feel for what she looks like. There you go. She comes like this right out of the box. There were some issues, unfortunately, with her head snapping off with some of the packing, but JND will set you straight. They'll take care of you on that. Mine, luckily, happened to come in without any problems whatsoever. So there you go. There's not much to talk about the pose. She is just standing very naturally, very beautifully. But yeah, that portrait here, that is just an absolutely stunning piece of work. There's going to be other, sources on the internet, photos taken under optimum conditions that will show her a lot better, but mere words cannot describe how accurate to Anne Hathaway this actually looks. And it is unfortunate that, there's only so much that the technology can give you. So there we have it. Some people say that, this version, she looks a little bit old, but there might be just because of the slight wrinkle under her eyes. But if you just check the reference in the film, this is how she looks like in the film. And again, in person, the hair, they actually styled it. They put a little bit of gel in there or whatever they did. Very similar to, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. So this is Selina Kyle. I actually think, even though I love Wonder Woman to death, it's like one of my favorite pieces, I actually think that this portrait might be even slightly better, if you can believe that. That's how amazing this is. So there you go. just trying to showcase sort of, you know, her amazing effect for those of you who aren't able to get her. She's obviously long sold out. Wonder Woman is probably selling for close to twice, double her retail value. And this one, I have every expectation will be doing the same thing after a year or so. So there you go. The Korean collectors are always, or the Asian collectors are always very lucky because, you know, they get the statue way ahead of time. But, you know, we kind of benefit from a little bit of the quality control solutions or issues that come up, and they fix that. All right, excellent. I'm gonna stop here, and then we're going to put on the alternate display, and we'll come back after the cut. See you then. All right, boom, welcome back after the cut. So you can see now we have switched out her hand. She's now, instead of holding the pistol, she's holding the Batman cowl. And check out the JND, you know, sort of installation video or their show off, or their show and tell video. This is the way the mask is supposed to be held. So check this out. That's what she looks like, holding the cowl instead, which is okay. I mean, I kind of prefer the cowl on the base and her holding the pistol. That just seems to be, to me at least, a stronger artistic choice. So here we go now with the portrait and the goggles installed. So there you go. Now you can see that her likeness really, really jumps out, probably because the goggles hide a little bit of the wrinkles or the aging eyes, let's just say. But very beautifully done. Put this thing on here. So this is one potential way of displaying her. I do prefer having her up, so you can just sort of gently open up the goggles like this. And then you go all the way to the top. And now this kind of mimics the cat ears that she has. So there you have it. Take a look here at the face. Again, unfortunately, because of the lens, there's an unavoidable catfish effect. But here we have it right there. So this is another way of displaying Selina Kyle. Likeness is very, very good, like we said. Moving down. And what's there to really say about this piece? Other than JND Studios has, again, knocked it out of the park. They're honestly the only like high-end statue company where their production, I would say, is, in my opinion, it's indistinguishable from their prototype. Maybe in some ways even better. I know that's one of the things that they take pride on, that they really, really wanted to like achieve. But I think they have, and it's, you know, in today's day and age, it's just a remarkable achievement that they're able to have that. You know, there is a comfort in knowing that when you spend this much money on such a high-end piece, that, you know, you're going to be protected. It's going to come out. It's going to come out looking absolutely amazing, just like what they promised with the prototype. So there you have it, perfectly placed on the nose with the eyes. And this is really like this look. You could probably move it down just a touch like that. So it doesn't look quite as high, but you can change that angle anywhere you want. But looks fantastic. I'm going to now gently, hopefully this doesn't turn bad on me. I'm going to gently put this down. And then we're going to put on my preferred arm, which is the actual pistol. The magnets are rare earth magnets, so they're incredibly strong. So here we go. So this is sort of the master look, so to speak. And then you can put the cowl back on the ground where it belongs, right here. And then you can see here, by the way, that the thumb can be detached. So they thought of everything. So there you have it. Put that out of the way. So here is sort of the preferred display piece. Dark Knight is over here. So straight on, it looks like this. It's just turning to look at you. And because she's so huge, I mean, it's just difficult to get all of her in frame, but this is about the best I can do. And then go a little bit closer. Here we have it. Just outstanding. A truly phenomenal achievement. And again, you know, she's quite a lot. I think retail is over 2,000, shipping's 300 to 400. It'll take you, you know, it'll cost you about 2,400 all said and done. But it's one of the few pieces that is worth every penny. You can actually see where all of that money is going into. It's a unique collectible. This is a unique niche in the hobby with the, you know, 1/3 scale, the platinum silicone, the real kind of skin effect, the hand punched in hair. It's kind of like this, you know, weird and almost perfect marriage of dolls and statues. You know, people will kind of you know, maybe denigrate you or, you know, almost in an insulting fashion say, well, this is just a Barbie doll. Well, you know, at the end of the day, you can make the argument because these are real people. And again, these faces are just so realistic. So yeah, you know, to some extent I can see that, but it's not exactly a doll either, you know, in terms of the skin effect and the hair, the makeup, all of that put together. It's sort of like, again, you know, applied to the stratosphere, right? It's like dolls on steroids, so to speak. So very, very, very amazing. I would say in terms of nitpickiness, just there's not a lot, you know, to nitpick about. You know, perhaps the plastic nature of the cowl or the gun. The gun could be a little bit better, a little bit more detailed, perhaps. Maybe a little bit of work on the belt buckle, although I feel like that's actually pretty darn good. Maybe you could put a little bit more on the pouches, maybe a bit more weathering or detail, but you know, still excellent. You know, probably the one thing I would say is that their licenses are still very heavily DC. They haven't really given us anything other than DC characters. We had the original Arthur Fleck from the Joker. Then we had you know, the Joker from the Dark Knight. We have Selina Kyle. We have Harley Quinn. We've got, you know, the different Batmans, the Christian Bale Dark Knight double, and now we have the Robert Pattinson version. And that double, there's rumors that there's going to be a Henry Cavill Superman, which is going to be amazing. But still, it's DC, 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 which is great. Obviously, Wonder Woman, how can I forget her? Also DC. But it would be amazing if they can just branch out to do a few other things. I mean, I realize that Marvel might be beyond their ability to pay right now, although that would just completely just go, it would just be crazy if they were able to do things like Iron Man, Doctor Strange, you know, some of the girls like, you know, Black Widow. I mean, it's just, you know, the mind can barely comprehend what they could do with that license, or even Star Wars, the Princess Leia, Luke, you know, could they make the greatest Darth Vader ever made? Cinemaquette gave us one with a really, sorry to say, stupid pose. And JND, you know, JND, luckily, they don't play that. They keep it simple. They give you nice museum poses that let their art speak for itself. So there's so many licenses out there, but they're all through Disney, and it could be that the studio is just simply not big enough to pay out the money, the contracting necessary. I mean, one bad decision, one bad sort of outcome that you're not used to could bankrupt a company this size. And so it could be that they just simply are not able to do that. But at this point, with their reputation and everything, I just don't see that being much of a gamble. So really hoping that they expand their license. And even if they can't get a Star Wars, if they can't get Star Wars, Disney Princess, let's just say, I mean, again, can you imagine a Emma Watson Belle? They have a Hot Toys version. That looks a little bit creepy. But just, you know, like a live action, you know, Belle, live action Cinderella, all these things, sky's the limit. Star Wars, again, Marvel Cinematic Universe. But if they can't get those, I mean, just try to expand maybe, kind of like what Queen Studios did. Could you give us an Arnold 1/3 scale? How about Kate Beckinsale from Underworld? That's never been done. Just there's, Sigourney Weaver's Ripley from Alien and Aliens. I mean, there's just so many amazing movie properties that could benefit from this treatment. And this was the same conversation we all had when Cinema was in business and doing their thing. We're all just wondering, what the limits were, what they could do. And again, their human portraits at that time just were not up to snuff. They just could not do it. And now, we have that ability. JND has that ability. What can they do? Can we get Gandalfs? Can we get Aragorn? How about Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean? That would be an insane third scale. So there's just so many possibilities and licenses. Unfortunately, most of the pop culture kind of goes to show you the domination of Disney. Almost a majority of those licenses, of course, owned by Disney, which means that, again, you would have to deal with their corporate structure. You have to pay the licensing. Might not be in the cards, unfortunately. But there's still a lot of amazing movie properties that they could give the JND treatment to. And that's what we're really excited for. But for now, I got Harley Quinn in line. Let's just see how she looks. And then I think she's the next one that's going to be released. She's already out in Korea, which means it'll be another 6 months or so before she makes her way to the States. And we know from their video, the kind of show and tell video, or their state of their company video, that Henry Cavill's Superman is coming. It's in the stages of production. So that's going to be, again, pretty crazy. Who knows what they're going to do with that? Are they going to give us a Clark Kent and Superman? Are they going to try to have them float? We don't know. We don't know what they're gonna go for here. But it will almost certainly be worth the money. But moving forward, would really, really love to try to see them expand licenses because that's how good they are. In my opinion, one of the best companies in the statue collecting sort of business right now. All right, well, thanks again for watching this amazing piece with me. JND Studios, Selina Kyle, Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises, 1/3 scale. Until next time, do take care.